Hello, big art muscle friend. In this video, we're going to draw geometric and organic shapes. The result is a really pleasing composition of positive and negative space that looks gorgeous hanging on any wall. Materials I use are linked in the description below, but you can grab any kind of paper you have available and a black marker, and you'll be good to go. Let's get started. A few notes before we begin. Number 1, I started this project by painting a background with watercolor tempera cakes on watercolor paper. If you want to paint but don't have watercolors, check out the video I've linked below where I teach you how to use washable markers to make your own watercolor paint. However, you do not have to paint your background. You can use a piece of colorful construction paper or color a background with markers. And of course, the option is always there to use blank white paper. Black and white compositions are always super sleek. Note number 2. In this lesson, I talk about geometric and organic shapes. And I want you to know how I define those two groups in my own simple words. In the world of Art with Coach T, geometric shapes are shapes with rules. For example, a triangle has to have 3 sides and 3 angles. A square has to have 4 equal sides and angles. A circle is a mathematically precisely curved line whose boundary meets the center point even all the way around. That was wordy. Anyways, these types of shapes have to follow a certain set of rules to be called those shapes. If you don't follow the rules, you're not the shape. On the other hand, organic shapes have no rules. I like to tell my students to think organic as in like all natural milk and eggs and all the things you buy at the organic farmer's market, you know? These shapes are often found in nature and maybe have softer edges. Clouds, puddles, rocks, the continents, your body, a leaf, an egg gone splat on the floor. These are natural forming shapes, no rules. That's how I think of geometric and organic shapes. It works for me, works for my students, and those are all the notes I have for you today. Let's build some art muscles. I'm going to start this project by drawing geometric shapes. You can do organic shapes first, you can do all geometric, all organic. It's totally up to you. No matter what shape you draw though, start simple and build slow, line by line. Get in the habit of lifting your marker or pencil, because you can always do this in pencil first and then trace in Sharpie if you're feeling a little bit nervous about the permanence of the marker. Either way, every shape I draw is made up of separate individual lines. I don't use one continuous one for the entire shape. I find that when drawing geometric shapes especially, it's helpful to really slow down, get the angles as exact-ish as I can, and that way I can avoid mistakes. But mistakes are part of the learning process, so if you are feeling nervous at all, I recommend draw everything in pencil, and before you erase something you don't like, face the mistake. I like saying don't erase your mistake, face the mistake. And by that I mean draw a new line where you want it while you are looking at the line you don't want. This refining strategy is a great self-management tool because you can take more control over your process. Mistakes happen, and without them, it's hard to grow. So any opportunity you have to face your mistakes, make a new choice, and try again, do it. It will make you stronger. Anyways, back to these geometric shapes. I did not have a plan. I'm just building this as I go. And see that spot right there with that doofy looking hexagon? I'm not worried about those little ears that I've added because between each of these shapes, I'm going to be coloring them all in black. So if your shape is not exactly the shape you want it to be in, you're going to have more opportunities to change them because all of the spaces again are going to be colored in black. I'm going to add a few more geometric shapes before I switch to the organic side. Please note that you can do this entire thing with geometric shapes or organic. There are no rules here. It's just to help you practice these shapes. Shapes are really hard. Drawing is really hard. So any opportunity you have to practice and make something that looks visually pretty cool, I say take it. All right, I'm officially on to the organic side. These usually end up for me looking like eggs that have splattered on the floor. Not that I spill all of my eggs on the floor. It has happened a few times. They also look like those curvy leaves, a puddle, clouds. Get creative here. I find that organic shapes are way easier for me because they're free-flowing. But if your hand is too rigid, this is going to be way harder. Look how fast that went. Now it's time for the final step of this project, to fill in all of the spaces between the shapes with black. Notice I'm not really going back and forth scritchy scratchy with my marker. What I'm doing is making little line strokes. This keeps me from going inside the lines of my shapes. Again, anything you can do to slow down your process and keep it neat, this will build your level of craftsmanship. Take your time. This video is definitely sped up by like 4 times. I'm going a lot slower than I look. Let's put a pretend obstacle in the way here. What if you do go straight through one of your shapes? Don't worry about it. Color that shape in black. You see, while this is a lesson about building out shapes with simple lines, as I said before, starting simple, building slow, it's also a lesson in composition, the way you arrange your artistic elements on the paper. If you want more negative space, the black space on your page, just color shapes in and see how the composition changes. In the next lesson of this shape series, we're going to be talking a lot more about composition, positive and negative space. So if this interests you, make sure you stay tuned. Before I finish, I want to draw your attention to something I've been doing throughout this entire video. It's turning my page. Your paper should not be glued to whatever surface you're working on. Always feel free to move your paper so you have the most comfortable position for you. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's what's comfortable for you. I'll see you when this gorgeous piece is done. I hope you like practicing drawing these shapes with me. Practice and skill-based process work are essential for building your art muscles. If you're patient and practice consistently, you will see dramatic increases to your strength and skills over time. As we focused specifically on shapes in this lesson, in the next one, we're going to look at space and composition, the way you arrange things on the page. And if you want to get a step ahead, find yourself a shape puncher. A circle, a star, a triangle, whatever shape you want. Choose your favorite and purchase that shape puncher. And I don't mean a teeny weeny hole puncher. If buying a tool is not an option for you, don't worry. I have an alternative solution for you that involves scissors and a little bit of patience. If you're curious and excited to experiment with a different kind of shape project, check out the lesson I've linked in the description. It's a stained glass window project where we use masking tape to create geometric shapes, a lot of triangles and rectangles, to create this stained glass windowish composition. And after you're done putting the tape on, you watercolor right over it. Peeling and revealing the tape is so satisfying at the end. If you need any suggestions or have any questions, always feel free to reach out. My contact is linked down below. Until next time, happy creating.